Hey guys, so I want to address a couple of questions that I've gotten so far from the reflection at the end of the first lesson. So if you still have to do that and you ask a question, I will film a second video that will have those answers in it. So don't worry, I will still make sure I get to your question. But just wanted to get some of these answers out right away so that people had them and it could help with their planning. So the first question that I got is, how is this seminar that we've set up this year going to be different from a 5-day-a-week class like we've had in the past? And the answer to that kind of depends on how you choose to use the seminar. So on the front end, the seminar is only 1 day a week. So when we're virtual, it's only going to be one lesson a week. When we come back in person, you will just have to come in 1 day a week to class. So for some people, that means that they can have 7 other classes besides the seminar. So if you are looking at AP, IB, you like the arts or theater or band, you want to have all of those different opportunities. Leadership doesn't take an opportunity away from you because you can still have 7 classes. So that's one thing that's really nice about this seminar. The other thing that's really nice about this seminar is if you choose to count it as one of your 7 classes, that means somewhere in your day, you have a study hall or a free period where you can work on all of your leadership projects and things. So we haven't gotten to projects yet. It's going to take a couple of weeks for us to figure things out and start working on projects. We're also going to have some challenges at the beginning of the year when it comes to projects because a lot of our projects require in-person. So in the past, we've done those post-football games. We've done, fundraisers. We've done study days. A lot of things that require people to be in the school building and be able to move around the school building. So we're definitely going to have to get creative with some of our projects to make them happen during this blended model to figure out what that looks like. I believe that we can absolutely do projects and that we can do things that make our school a better place for students, that increase student voice, and just generally improve the atmosphere within our school. So I don't think that being in a blended, or even if we go fully online model, will prevent us from doing projects and from having a voice in school. I think it will just look a little different and we're going to have to be creative. But all of that to say, the seminar, because it's only 1 day a week, gives us the opportunity to spend more time working on actually leading in our community. Instead of being in a classroom and just learning about leading, we're going to do that all on 1 day. And then the rest of the week we'll have the opportunity, either as part of your study hall or free hour, or outside of the school day if you're taking a full 7 class course load, to have those opportunities. The next question I had was, are we going to split the class down into groups with separate focuses? Last year, for those of you that are new to leadership, we had 6 or 7 different groups in our class that were focused on different things. So we had a group that was focused on the newscast and social media. We had a group that was focused on the school appearance. We had a group that was focused on athletics and clubs. So different things throughout our school. My short answer is I don't know. I will, as we get things going, we'll have that discussion as a group. We'll figure out, is it more beneficial for us to split down into smaller groups so each of those groups can have a more specific focus on improving our school through their leadership? Or do we want to all work together and, give feedback on all of these different areas? So more to come on that. I will leave that decision ultimately up to you, but we'll have some discussion here in a couple of weeks that will help us develop that idea. Next question I got was about 6th grade camp. So as you hopefully know at this point, 6th grade camp is not happening in the fall. So those of you that are signed up to be 6th grade camp leaders, right now that's not taking place. If it would have been taking place, you would have had trainings over the summer, and you would be ready to go have your 6th grade camp here in the next couple of weeks. Right now, the tentative plan is that 6th grade camp is going to move to spring. Fingers crossed that it can happen in spring. We don't know yet. Obviously, like everything else, there are a lot of unknowns. So if you are looking at doing something that is around 6th grade camp as your project, in a couple of weeks, when we start developing those projects, you will be able to meet with Mrs. Foster and kind of figure out, what does that look like? Are you going to do something in the fall to meet your sixth graders before sixth grade camp happens in the spring? Are you going to look at what you're planning on doing in the spring? Are you going to look at continuing that into the summer? So all of those options will be on the table, as well as anything else that you come up with. If you are looking at this right now and saying, well, sixth grade camp isn't happening till the spring, I want to have an impact now. I want to start looking at something that I can do as a project. Maybe that doesn't have to do with sixth grade camp, but that has an immediate impact on the school. And then I'll do sixth grade camp in the spring. We can figure that out too. Okay. So you don't have to feel like if sixth grade camp isn't happening till spring, you're stuck twiddling your thumbs until then. There will be projects for you to lead, things for you to figure out between now and when sixth grade camp hopefully happens. Next question. I mentioned that a part of this class is that you are going to leave with a toolbox of leadership skills. There was some confusion about what that meant and, what are you getting out of the class? So first thing, you are getting a credit. This is a one credit elective class. So it goes on your transcripts. Colleges will see that you took a credit of leadership. If you're taking it for multiple years, you'll have multiple credits of leadership. And it counts towards your graduation requirements. It doesn't count in a specific area, like it's not an English class or a math class or a science class, but it counts as an elective credit, the same way an art class would count or a business class, okay? The next thing that you're going to get out of this class is that you're going to get leadership experience. So when it comes to applying for jobs, writing your resume, talking about things that you might be involved in college that want to see that you've had some leadership experience, you'll be able to refer back to this experience. You will be able to say, well, I led this thing and I led this thing and I planned and organized this, and you will develop those skills. So when I talk about a toolbox of skills, I am talking about you having these opportunities in high school that most students don't get, that then can be talked about, used on applications, used in your resume as you're getting ready for jobs and for college. So if you talk to any of the students that have gone through this class, I get text messages all the time from them or emails saying, hey, I just applied for this and I wrote on my application all about this project that I did in leadership, and they were so impressed. Or I'm part of this organization and it runs just like leadership class. So they're really impressed that I've already had this experience. I got 3 of them already this fall from students that just graduated. So I guess toolbox is maybe a little bit vague, but it applies in so many different areas that it's hard to describe a specific thing that you are getting out of it. But logistically, you are going to get a credit. So it will show up on your transcripts. It is part of your graduation credit total. So if that's something that you are concerned about, that is the really tangible part. And then the other part of it is all of the experiences that you're getting. There was a question about group calls or Google Meets. Yes and no. There are 30 of us. So it is hard to have a group meeting with 30 people and have everybody's voices be heard. So I am probably going to refrain from having a ton of group meetings with all 30 of us. The other thing is 30 people, it's hard to find a time where all 30 people can meet. So what we will do, and what we did last spring that seemed to work really well, is we'll have small groups, 5, 6, maybe even 8 or 9 people per group that will be able to meet and discuss and plan and have that face-to-face interaction, but probably not all 30. The other nice thing about that is that we can hold those at different times during the day. So maybe you're a morning cohort and you need to attend a meet in the afternoon because you don't have time while you're in school. Maybe you work after school and you need to attend one in the morning. I'll be able to offer different options of different times throughout the day so that we can get everybody in and we can hear everybody's voices. The first small group meeting that we're going to have is not next week, but the week after that. So a little bit of time for your schedule to kind of shake out. You can see what your requirements are going to be, what classes you're going to have to be online for at certain times, and then you'll be able to sign up for a time slot that fits within your schedule. I had a couple of logistical questions about projects. What date do we have to have our project selected by? Are we going to be able to switch projects? Are we going to be able to work in projects in groups? Just know that all of those logistical project things are still coming. Okay, so once we get more into the development of projects, we'll be able to see a little bit better which projects are going to last all year, what projects might only take a couple of weeks, which projects require multiple people. So I guess the simple answer is yes. right? Whatever you need to make your project successful, we will be able to accommodate. We'll figure out the logistics in a couple of weeks once we've gone through our initial, like, what is leadership? What does this look like? And we start to get into the project specifics. Last question I have on my list is just a simple, what are we doing in this class? Fair. It's a little bit hard to answer because this class is so dependent on what you want to do and how you want to impact your community. It's hard to tell you, here is what you're going to be doing. What I can tell you, you will have one lesson per week. It will come out the Friday before the week. It'll be posted to that calendar. So technically you'll have from Friday to Friday to complete it, okay? 7 days. That lesson will take about 2 hours. Some will be a little bit short of 2 hours. Some will be a little bit longer than 2 hours. So again, up to you. Do you want to take that 2 hours and do it all in one chunk? Do you want to split it up over multiple days? That's all up to you. Once we get started with projects, the lesson time itself will decrease. So maybe it'll only be an hour or 45 minutes of work. And then that other hour and 15 will be time for you to start working on your project. If you're working in a group, meet with your group, figure out some logistics, contact administrators, contact teachers, contact community members. And we'll talk about what all of that looks like, and I will help and support you on all of that, okay? So, one lesson per week. Eventually, you will be responsible for a project that you are leading, okay? So you'll get that leadership experience hands-on, and you'll be able to reflect on, wow, I did this really well as a leader. This is a strength for me. Or, holy cow, I am really not good at this right now. This is something that I need to grow in as a leader. That's why we do the project, so you get that hands-on experience. So that will come in a couple of weeks. I would say by the end of September, right? We're only at the beginning of September right now. By the end of September, we should start thinking about what our projects are going to be and how we're going to get those going, okay? So hopefully this helps answers a few of your questions. Maybe it creates some more questions. If that's the case, please let me know. I'd love to answer any more questions that you have. Starting leadership this way is weird. It's hard. It's not something that I've done before. So keep hitting me with questions, with ideas, with things you want to discuss, and I'll figure it out, I promise. So leadership generally is a really interactive class where you kind of get to design it yourself. As a class, you figure out what it looks like. So give me feedback. Let me know, and we'll go from there. Hope you guys are having a great first week. I'm super bummed that I don't get to see you all in class, but I'm glad that at least we get to be back in the school building, starting to see each other face to face, and at least it feels a little bit like school. So talk to you soon. Have a great weekend if I don't talk to you before then. Bye.